Junior year, I was in a relationship in high school that I never thought I was actually going to be in. I mean, I was crushing on this girl freshman year and sophomore year, but I could never work up the nerve to just ask her out. And so finally, I got all my guys around me like you have to do, and they're like, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. And junior year, I asked her out, and she said yes, all right? And we went on a date, and it was good, and it led to another date, and it was still good. And then I asked her to be my girlfriend, and she said yes again. Big win for Sam junior year, feeling great about myself. And the relationship, it was just going perfectly. Like those dream relationships, the golden relationships, you know what I'm talking about. It's perfect. Everything is great. And it was probably so great because we talked all the time. We were best friends. We had a rhythm to the way that we did things and the relationship that we had. I mean, every single day after school, we would walk out to the parking lot, we'd go to her car, and we'd just talk. Like, dude, what is going on? How was your day? What do you want to do this weekend? Yada, yada, whatever it was. And so it was about springtime, and it was just like any other day. We had a good day, and I got out of class a little bit early. She didn't have a final period, and so I'm walking out to her car to go and talk like we always do. And so I start heading out there, and in the moment I get into the parking lot, I'm like, this is a little different. Like usually she's like standing in front of her car, wanting to say hi to me. A little different. And so I walk a little bit closer, and I realize like, hey, she's in her car. Okay, maybe she just got hot and she wanted to just like sit in the car. I don't know. And so I get closer and closer, and then I realize she's not sitting in the front seat of her car. She's actually sitting in the back seat of her car. And as I get even closer, I see like, oh, she's not alone. There's another dude in the car. And then I take one step closer, and I see that she's making out with this other guy in the car. What do you do in that moment, man? Like, all parts of me want to, like, kick her car and scream. And you run off. Do you just, like, say nothing and drop your head and walk away defeated?
Drop the car!
And so I went up to that rear window, and I went, tap, tap, tap. And they're like, and I look her dead in the eyes. And I just walk away. What made it so much worse, that prom was in 3 days. We had already bought the tickets, the outfits were planned, the transportation was there. It was gonna be a magical evening. I was so excited, I was looking forward to it, and so was she. And so naturally, later that night, she shoots me a text. She's like, Sam, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to. And I'm like, you didn't mean to? Did you just like fall on him? Like, what? You kidding me? But at the end of that text message, she says, are we still going to prom this weekend? And so I was faced with this decision in my heart of hearts. Do I continue in this toxic relationship? Because, man, I really like this girl. What we had is so special. Or do I set up some proper boundaries and head a different direction? I'll tell you later a little bit what I did. Looking back on that relationship now, I realized that it wasn't just like something that was difficult. It wasn't a hard relationship or something that was uncomfortable, but it truly had crossed a boundary and become a toxic relationship. Looking back now, with all the knowledge that I have, I realize how much I changed. How much I compromised my own values in order to make sure that this girl would want to date me, that I would want to be someone that she would stay with and that she'd like for the long term. I realized that I was in a very toxic and unhealthy relationship. And I know we've been throwing around this word toxic a lot over the past couple of weeks. If you've missed a week, go back on YouTube, check out the messages. They are fantastic. But not all relationships, I have to say this very clearly, not all relationships that are challenging are toxic. Some of them are just hard. Some of them push us, they challenge us, they make us a little bit uncomfortable. They might even annoy us, but they're not toxic. But there are, from time to time, those relationships that step over that boundary line and they go from kind of annoying to actually hurtful and toxic. Now, let's be real, every single one of you either has or will run into a toxic relationship in your life. Maybe for you, it's the fake friend, like they're cool when it's just you two and you're hanging out and you're having a really great time. You tell them everything. They know so much about your life. But the moment that you turn your back, they're immediately going to that other group of friends and they're telling them everything that you said. It's like, dude, I just told you everything and now you're talking trash behind my back. Or every single time they are going to talk with you, they want to hang out with you, it's just because they want something from you. And you're left sitting there like, dude, what am I getting out of this relationship? For others of us, it's the controlling boyfriend or girlfriend, and it starts out so sweet. I mean, it's not controlling. They just love me. I'm awesome. Obviously, what's not to love? But that controlling, obsessive thing that's going on, it actually becomes annoying after a couple of weeks, and you realize that every single time that you're just trying to go hang out with your friends, your guys or your girls, they have something to say about it. No, you should hang out with me. Or God forbid, you send a text 20 minutes after they texted you. It's like the world is ending. It wasn't in the 2-minute window. Come on. And instead of feeling great, you're feeling controlled, and it's suffocating you. For others of us, it's the friend group that constantly pushes us, that says, hey, just do it. Just come to the party. Just come be with us. Come hang around. It'll be fine. I mean, like if you don't do it, everybody's going to realize that you're not there and you're going to be lame and no one's going to care. And you're like, I don't know. I don't want to be a part of that, but I don't want to lose my community. Maybe I have to go. So many of these relationships cross into toxic. And these toxic relationships leave us feeling drained, guilty, and worn out. And if we don't figure out how to set boundaries, solid boundaries, then those relationships will begin to wreck us from the inside out. But the Bible gives us very clear instruction in how we can begin to set boundaries in these types of relationships. We're going to start with Proverbs 4, verse 23. This is what it says. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. I like to picture the heart as this control center of your life. It's where your value lives. It's where your identity lives. It's who you think you are. It's where your decisions are made. And Proverbs says that above all else, meaning this being the top priority of everything in your life, guard that part of you. Guard your heart. Why? Because everything you do flows out of it. Your friendships, your dating life, your future, your faith, your character. If your heart is left unguarded and toxic people have unlimited access to it, then eventually what flows out of your life isn't going to look anything like you want it to. It's not going to look anything like Jesus. And guarding your heart, it doesn't mean, and we have to make this clear, it doesn't mean just cutting everybody off, putting up these massive walls, living in isolation and saying, I can't be with anybody. It's not that. It's not that at all. It's setting up loving boundaries so that your heart stays healthy, so that what flows out of you is centered around Jesus. Let's get something straight tonight, that boundaries aren't an unloving thing. It's probably one of the most loving things that you can have because they protect what's most important. And in Proverbs, we see that that's our heart. And so tonight, what I want to do is I just want to get extremely practical with you. We've heard the past few weeks about what this looks like, how we can love our enemies, how we can pray for our enemies. But tonight, I want to give us some practicality when it steps into relationships that are truly toxic and hurtful for you. What do we do? How do we set up these boundaries? What should we be looking for? And so the very first thing that we should do when we're setting up boundaries is begin to recognize their fruit. What do I mean by this? In Matthew 7:16, it says, by their fruit you will recognize them. This means to pay attention to patterns coming out of somebody's life. Like what comes out of their lives consistently? What are they showing consistently? Are they somebody that is always gossiping, that the moment you turn your back, they're saying something about you, or the moment you're in conversation with them, they're saying something about someone else? And drama is just spinning around everywhere they go. Do they always make jokes at your expense instead of building you up? Do they pressure you into crossing lines you don't want to cross? Do they act one way around you, but entirely different around another group? Do they drain your energy when you're together, leaving you feeling smaller and more broken than actually built up? Now, everyone has bad days. Like, I have bad days all the time, days where I'll go home and I'll be like, dude, I can't believe I said that. Like, I shouldn't have made that joke. I know that probably hurt that person. Or I really wish I didn't say this in this meeting. Like, everybody has bad days. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the common, just random thing that happens. What I'm talking about is the consistent fruit in somebody's life. What are they consistently doing? Are they consistently tearing you down? Are they consistently putting you lower than you need to be? Are they tearing you down, manipulating you, or pushing you away from Jesus? All of that is not good fruit. It's toxic, and it'll crush a relationship. And so when you begin to recognize the fruit in somebody's life, when you begin to see and take into consideration all that is coming out of their life, what do we have to do next? We have to go to them and speak the truth in love. Ephesians 4:15 says this. It says, speak the truth in love. Boundaries don't always start with cutting someone off. That's not the first step. Usually the first step is an honest conversation. But this is where so many of us struggle, and I'm one of them. We struggle because we don't want to step into potential conflict with somebody. It scares us. It terrifies us. We're worried that what if I go into that conversation and it doesn't go any way that I want it to go, and I'm just left more hurt than I was before. Man, we're so afraid of conflict. So when we get into this situation, we get into this moment, we either do one of two things. We either avoid it entirely, or we allow our emotions to control our response to the situation. We get angry. We get frustrated. And we use this term that it's a righteous anger. It's good because I'm the one that's mad. So we do one of two things. We never give the other person an opportunity to understand what they did and how they hurt us. Speaking the truth in love means you're honest about how their actions are affecting you. But you do it with kindness, humility, and respect, never meaning to shame the other person. It's about giving them a chance to see what their behavior did, because honestly, they may just not know. For example, you might say like, hey dude, when you're making that joke about me, you know that is the one thing that I am most insecure about. That is the one thing that bothers me the most, and you make a joke of it because you know you're gonna get laughs, but dude, it's crushing me. Shows me that you don't even care about me, that you don't want a relationship with me. You gotta tell them. Or hey, when you try to control who I hang out with, it makes me feel like you just don't trust me. In order for our relationship to work, we're actually going to have trust in it. Or hey dude, every single time that you tell me, hey, just take a drink, like everyone's doing it, it's fine. Like that dude over there, it's fine, just take it. It makes me feel like you don't care about my future or my faith because you know the person that I want to be. You know I want to be an example of Jesus. You know I want to grow, and you know that's not what I'm about, but you continue to put it in my face time and time again. Dude, it's driving me crazy. It's like you don't care about me, my future, or my faith. When something happens like this, we have to go and speak the truth in love. We can't just ignore the situation. We have to step into it, because when we step into it, God will continue to bless the boundaries that you are creating, that you're setting up. Now listen, those conversations, I am in no way saying they're fun. Sometimes they're awkward and they're uncomfortable and they can make us a little easy and not go the way that we want to. But dude, some people just don't even realize that you're hurting until you speak up. We have to say something to them. We have to give them the opportunity to change that behavior for you and for the relationship you have with them, but the relationships they have outside of you as well. And if they love you, they'll take it seriously. And hopefully there'll be some changes that they make so that you can have a reconciliation in your relationship. But if they don't, that leads us to step 3 in this boundary. Limit access or remove access if it's needed. 2 Timothy 3:5 says, have nothing to do with such people. If they refuse to change and they keep dragging you down, you have permission in this relationship to step back. It says it in Scripture. That doesn't mean you hate them. It doesn't mean that you wish harm to them. It doesn't mean that you get all of your friends together and you tell them all the nasty things this person did to you so that they can hate them too. It's not about making a bigger team. It's about giving yourself the opportunity to step away from the relationship so that you don't give them unlimited access to your heart anymore. You have to set up the boundary. And then finally, you forgive, but you don't reopen the door. Forgiveness is huge, because if you don't forgive, you're the one that stays chained up in bitterness. A year went by, after what happened in that parking lot, I had never said a word to that girl or that guy. I knew them both. The guy was a friend of mine. Yeah, right? I never said a word. And they went on, and their relationship was all happy, and it was cute, and they got together officially. It was great. But for me, I was just sitting there, dude, and I was dying inside. Every time I saw them, I was angry, I was frustrated, I was hurt, I felt like trash. All of these feelings welled up inside of me, and I just didn't care. I wanted anything to happen that would just make me feel better, but I couldn't stop obsessing over the situation that happened in my head. And so I just thought, like, dude, I'm gonna get back at them, and that's gonna help me finally get over this situation. I'm gonna finally be able to put her in the rearview mirror, and all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask her best friend to prom. And so I did, and she said yes. Not worth clapping over. Do you think I actually had a good time at prom? No. Because my mind was still so focused on her. See, bitterness had grabbed onto my heart and it hadn't let go. I was angry and I was frustrated and I couldn't forgive her and him for how they treated me. Later that night, halfway through that prom, even her best friend left to hang out with another dude because I was so caught up in how she had treated me a year ago. You see, unforgiveness is like putting yourself in this prison, locking the doors and giving somebody else the key. It keeps you stuck exactly where you're at, never getting the freedom to go where God wants you to go. Unforgiveness develops bitterness in our hearts, and it chains us and locks us exactly where we are, never able to move forward to what God has for us. Everyone deserves forgiveness, but not everyone deserves to get back into your life. And so this is why I say forgive, but don't reopen the door. Forgiving someone doesn't mean you have to let them back into your inner circle. It doesn't mean you invite them into the smallest parts of your lives where you tell them everything, or even if you spend any time with them. It doesn't mean that. It means that you release bitterness without reopening the door to experience more hurt. So here's the challenge I want to leave you guys with tonight. Who's that person for you? Who in your life right now is draining you, tearing you down, or even pulling you further away from Jesus? I'm sure as I say it, there's somebody that kind of pops into your mind a little bit. It doesn't take a lot of work to figure that out if that's the way you've been feeling for a while now. Who's that person for you? Think about it. But also, I kind of just want you to do a self-reflection, and this is the part that might get the most uncomfortable. Because you need to begin to ask yourself, am I that person to other people? Am I the relationship that's draining people's life away? That's pushing people past the boundaries that they have set up? Am I constantly pushing people to do what I know they don't want to do? Am I constantly talking about people behind their backs? Am I constantly trying to do everything I can just to feel better about myself and in what's going on in my own life? You have to decide. Is that the person I become? Ask yourself that question. Be real with it. And for the others of us, as we answer that question, we need to begin to realize, who is that person in our life? And what do I need to do about this relationship? Do I need to have a hard conversation with them? So many of us need to do that. We've been scared or nervous to have that conversation, to step into it fully, because what might happen? What might come out of it? I don't know. But it could be better than you ever imagined, and maybe there's hope for reconciliation in that friendship. But for maybe some of us, we need to limit access to people in our lives. And then finally, for so many of us, we might just need to forgive, but not reopen the door. We felt chained and locked in bitterness for so long that we need to forgive so that we can step forward into the life that Jesus has set for us. See, this is something that's always challenging. It doesn't matter how old you get. It doesn't matter how much life experience you have. It doesn't matter any of that stuff. It's always hard to put up boundaries in toxic relationships, but it's necessary so that what flows out of our hearts is centered on Jesus and on the life that he has for us. I want you to hear one more time that loving people doesn't mean letting them continue to hurt you. You have to guard your hearts, set appropriate boundaries, bring in accountability with it, people who love Jesus, and then trust that God will honor it. And so tonight, in small groups, I hope we have a very practical conversation. What boundaries do we need to set up in order to make sure that what's flowing out of our heart is honoring God? You pray with me? God, thank you so much for these students. Thank you for this series. Just thank you that we've been able to have this conversation week after week, God. You're so good. When we talk about this stuff, it can get hard and it can get uncomfortable, but I pray that you give students the courage to set appropriate boundaries in their lives so they can continue to follow you, and so that out of the overflow of their hearts, man, you are just present and you are there. God, you're good. We love you, and we thank you for time to gather here together to worship your name and to hear your word. We love you and we praise your name. Amen.